Welcome. I'm glad you could join me. Today, it was just a few things I had on my mind. It's the Sabbath for me. Um, Wanted to say a few things about what's going on right now, how it affects you and I, and what I think is important to the Most High, Yahuwah. And I'm going to ask you just to, listen carefully and get what he said to me. So the other day in prayer, I asked the Most High, okay, how are you feeling today? You know how we usually go and pray and ask God for something, or we complain about something. Every now and then I will ask him, like, okay, how do you feel, Father God? Yahweh, how are you doing? How are you, Yeshua HaMashiach? How are y'all feeling? They have feelings and emotions just like we do. Sometimes we count that out and we only put ours up on the most important shelf, right? But here's what he said. He said, I'm doing good. I feel good. He said, because the earth and my people are giving me more praise and honor than they give to the Edomites. Now, let me explain what that meant. He explained that doing this thing with the California fires, if you notice, like you go on some of the news outlets or some of the major, people who speak about it and have the pictures and stuff, you'll see page after page of people, where it's live, and they'll be talking about, this is God's justice, this is God's revenge, this is God's reckoning for California and Hawaii, all those states and Hollywood, and how they've, done so much evil, molesting little children, putting out garbage to, their country and allowing it to just manifest. And people around the world standing up saying, you know what, this is God's reckoning. This is the Most High. This is him speaking to the earth and letting them know that this nation is being judged. And so he said he feels good. Now, see, a lot of you, you little Christians who are still doing that mamsy-pamsy Christian stuff, y'all might see it in a different way. Well, oh, why don't you pray for those poor people? Well, no, that ain't how it works. It said sin is a reproach to any nation. That means it brings it down. Little by little, the more that sin increases, wickedness, darkness, legalizing, dysfunction, is that increases, that brings judgment. And if we're honest, if we're truly Christians and we're honest, we're going to say the truth. We're going to speak the truth. We're going to say, you know what? Oh my God, you felt this coming. We felt this coming, and now it's here. It started. It has begun. Okay, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about me personally. So back here, I'd say around October, I started, getting a word from the Most High. In a dream I had one night, and he said, evacuate. He just said evacuate. I didn't know, what it was. Saw this man in the dream. I'm sure he was, God's servant. And he said, evacuate in 24 hours. I'll be back in 24 hours. Okay. And so I woke up that morning, and that week we were trying to do the, Feast of Tabernacles. And it was going well, and just had a profound dream. So I'm wondering, what is this, and when is this going to happen? So I'm thinking, maybe there's going to be another fire, because we were living in Hawaii at the time. I'm thinking, well, maybe there's going to be another fire in Maui, or in another one of the Hawaii islands. And so then a couple of nights later, I had another dream. And then it was explaining that I'll come and get you. I'll come and get you. So this thing went on, and I prayed and sought the Lord about it. You're going to need to evacuate. It's time to leave this place. Hawaii is one of the 50 states of America. And so I said, Lord, wherever you want us to go, we will go. And that's the attitude you have to have now, because of the things unfolding in real time. And I had this conscious feeling too, that as soon as we left, some things were going to start unfolding in America, which probably will eventually, as it unfolds, will affect the Hawaii Islands as well. And so in obedience, we packed up everything. We gave our little notice to our, landlord, who was an awesome landlord. Best, couldn't ask for. I won't call his name, but We lived there for a few years, packed up everything, gave a lot away, sold some things. And by the time for us to leave came, it was the 24th. 24th. And everything lined up exactly how God Most High had spoken to me to do it. And so I'm here to tell you that what started in California is going to continue and it's going to get worse. You might want to visit my YouTube page where it speaks about 2025, how America would begin to fall in 2025. I know some of you have watched that video. There's some other videos on there that I had put up through the Holy Spirit to warn God's people years ago to leave America. And some, are still there. And I'm going to start trying to bring some more lives to help you understand what's coming up for those of you who still remain in America. I know sometimes we think that, okay, so COVID came and it was crazy and it was a wild ride, but we rode all through it and it comes to an end. And sometimes when things like that happen, it sets you up to think in your mind that you'll always be in control of what comes up ahead. But you must continue to understand you're living in revelations. It's unfolding in your time. And so that means that you're not going to always know what's coming. And what's coming won't always, we ride this out and we make it through. No, this thing is going to progressively get worse. The fires in California, I always look at America like, if you look at America on a map, if you look at it really clearly, you'll see that the map almost looks like a dragon. The head of the dragon is Washington, New York, and that little, that part runs on up towards the end. California is like the backside of the dragon, the butt. What comes out of the butt? It ain't always clean. Okay, so it sort of has built. It said side of the country up as that filth, that degradation, that dark, evil, unclean things. Homosexuality, pedophilia, everything you can think of goes on in California. Hollywood promotes it and pushes and sells it and basically been living off God's holy chosen people and their energy. A warlock is a being that knows how to take light and positive energy, transform it and use it for darkness. So that's basically what's been happening for years in California. And so now it's reckoning, it's judgment time, and God is, doing what he said he was going to do. But it's not going to stop there. That is just the beginning. It's starting there and it's going to continue to move its way and make its way all over the country. And I'm going to say this for you guys. A lot of y'all watch my videos and y'all understand sometimes I talk about, the supernatural part, which isn't really supernatural. These things and these beings are just as real as you and I are. And what they're doing is they've already come down, prepared a hub. Well, they had hubs in America, in the earth already. America's like the seat of the beast, the seat of the dragon. And that's why so much craziness goes on there. But what's happening now is they're planning to, I'd say an overthrow of the people. The government's been in with it all along, but they didn't realize how dangerous it was going to get. You know how you make a deal with the devil and then you find out the devil is like, okay, now I'm going to destroy you because, hey, I'm the master. We just let you think you were the master, okay? So what I'm trying to tell people, God's holy chosen people, you think you can handle what's coming. You think, oh yeah, I heard in Revelations is going to be a man, he's the Antichrist, and he's going to be doing things and trying to make us worship him. And see, that's the soft version. The dirty details is these things, these creatures are part of his. And they're going to be coming up, exposing themselves so you can actually see them. It's not going to be this, it's going to be rough and then we're going to get back to normal now. No, and that's why God kept trying to tell in the word, flee Babylon, run. Don't be a partaker in her sickness, her plagues, her diseases. He knew there was going to be a lot more to the situation than you have experienced or understand. So when God told me to evacuate, and I finally found out where he wanted me to evacuate to, he don't have to tell me but one time. I got my stuff. My son and I, we packed our things. It took a good month to get everything done, but in obedience we did, and we went where he told us to go. And I'm so grateful I did, because, like I said, I had this feeling as soon as we left, things was going to start unfolding. He was trying to get us to a safer place. Yeah, Hawaii is the islands, and it's a couple of thousand miles out from the mainland of America, but you know that that's a 50th state. So whatever goes on there in America, in the mainland, is going to trickle down to Hawaii. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you a dream I had a few months ago before I left. And I have this little blessing. I call it a gift. But a lot of times what happened is, most of us, we don't pay attention to the lights flickering or the lights going off for a few seconds and coming on. We just think, oh Lord, is the electric company having a problem? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, but I'm going to tell you a dream that had. This vision was, I know it was from the Most High. Okay, so one day, this is not a dream. This part is real. The lights flickered. And this has happened to me maybe a couple of times in the last 20 years. The lights flicker sometimes. It can be electrical, you know. But this day, the lights flickered, flick, 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 flick. And I can feel in my spirit when something's coming over, this interfering with the electrical current that flicks, that causes it to flick. I know this is going to sound weird. And so when it flick like that, I was like, I had that feeling, that trepidation, that feeling that something out of this world came over and caused an electrical interruption. So that night, I had this dream. And you have to remember, I used to be in the military a long time ago, so I sort of know how things are set up. And so in this dream, it was clear. I saw this big window, and we're in I call it the hub or the brain of, the military. I'm in this room, big wide bay window, bigger than a bay window. I mean, big. Like you're in almost like a tower where you can see out like parameters, And so this young man is at the front. You got your you got your specialists who are working, information specialists, technology and stuff like that. They're hearing and taking information. This young man obviously was not informed, because what happened is he's seeing this thing come in, and he is terribly afraid. He has this look on his face like, oh, and he's at the computer, and these other people at computers, and the military guys, and he see it coming in, and he gets all tore up. He's like, oh my God, do you see what's coming in? Do you see? And I'm standing with the other military people in the room. Everybody's sitting at different places, operations, headquarters, and this commander, high level commander, comes over to him and says, son, like calm down. Calm down, it's gonna be okay. Pull yourself together. And I knew instinctively that this commander knew what was coming in. He knew everything. They didn't know, the young, little duty guys. So he says, calm down, son, it's gonna be okay. And so he calms down, but he's still shaken, visibly shaken by this thing he just saw, this craft coming down to the area where they're stationed. And so in a few minutes later, this woman comes in. She's tall, very tall. She has to at least be 7 foot tall. She's in sort of like this jumpsuit thing, but it looks normal. It's not nothing like, like a, alien kind of thing. But I instinctively know she's not human. And so she's telling everybody, oh, okay, we're going to do some stand. You got people all sitting out in the room, military guys, young guys, men. And she said, we're going to be doing some stuff. We're going to show a video And she has sandwiches and stuff she's passing out to everybody. But I instinctively know I'm not eating that. So she goes and she hands it out. And then they're watching this thing on the video. And I'm trying not to look up and watch this thing she's putting out. But as we're watching, we see this thing come down. And it's like If you saw it on TV or something, it would be, you would think like it's like an AI robot. You think it's like a giant, though it's big. It's coming down, and she's explaining to everybody, don't be worried, don't be upset, everything's okay, and everybody's, some people are a little suspicious and worried, and others are like, oh, okay, this is just military, we trust them, blah, blah, blah. But I know instinctively this woman is an alien. She is an alien hybrid. She has blonde hair. She has her hair pulled back tight, clean cut, but not a uniform like the military. Like it's some kind of other jumpsuit, but she's so tall, it's unusual. So something's not quite right. So what I'm telling you is everything is getting lined up for the takeover in America. I've known this for years. God started explaining more details to me in the last year or two, but I had put out a video that by the Holy Spirit, He guided me to put out in about 2023. A lot of you know about that video where I said, the Most High said, be out of America by 2023, and that the fall would come by 2025. That's two different videos. You can check those out on YAH'S Messenger. So I just pray for you. I pray for you, children. It's not what you think. It's not going to be as easy as you think. It's not going to be like a storm and then the storm passes. This thing is going to get worse and worse and worse. And you can see in California what God is doing. He's already flipped the switch. It's begun. And I know some of you are still there and you're saying, well, what should we do? You better ask God that. Do whatever He says. I know I'm looking a little tired right now, but it took us a month to build, get everything done and pack up and sell stuff. But you know what? I'd rather obey than disobey. What does it say in the word? Obedience is better than sacrifice. And yeah, there was a few bumps in the road, but you know what? My Father, Yahuwah, He blessed us to do it, pull it off. There was some people that tried to, be a little interrupting, but Yahweh in His power and Yeshua HaMashiach helped us to do it. And we obeyed Him, and we came out, and I'm so glad now I'm watching on TV of all this unfolding. And I knew it was. I knew things were going to jump off. I felt it in my spirit. And I'm sharing this with you because you got to understand this thing is real. What is coming, you're not going to be able to handle it. And the worst thing is your children. Why are you going to put your children through that? I was reading something this morning. Like I said, this is the Sabbath. And Yahweh took me to the book of Ezekiel. And in the book of Ezekiel, he was talking about how bad the children of Israel had gotten and what they were doing and sacrificing their children on the altar of Molech, and then going to his temple and giving him offerings and knowing they were just waiting for the people in the other country, the pagan Edomites, to come and, tickle their little feet and bring them some trinkets and be ruling over his kingdom. And he said he was tired of their wickedness, tired of them giving him these offerings and going to his temple like they were praying to him and serving him. Well, all along, they were serving their true master, the pagan Edomites, who they looked to for everything, for protection, for food, for wisdom, for counsel. Isn't that what we're doing today? We're staying in a country where we know it's falling. We know it's evil. We know it's dark. And yet we still serve them. And you say, well, no, I serve God. I go to church on Sunday. Well, you think about it. You're doing the same thing. I'm going to tell you how He showed me this morning. You're doing the same thing that His people did, the burnt bronze chosen people did in ancient times. Okay, one, you're sacrificing your children to Molech on the altar. And you're saying, well, how do we do that? Well, we know they do it in, abortions. But you're doing it to your live children because, you see, if I live in a wicked land and I know it's destroying my children, both mentally, spiritually, and I keep staying there, I'm basically sacrificing my altar of Molech, of Baal. Who's running the country you live in? Edomites. Who was running things back in the day of the ancient times and causing God's people to undermine Him and sacrifice their children? The Edomites, the Canaanites. We call them Edomites, but actually their bloodline is Canaanite through Cain. So we're doing the same thing. We're seeing our sons get shot down in the streets, murdered ruthlessly, blood just spilled like they're worthless, and we still stay there waiting for the next one to get killed, sacrificing your children. The next thing we're doing is going to church on Sunday, worshiping on Sunday, when we know that's a pagan feast day, and where all kinds of revelry and all kinds of wicked things were done on that day. And when they worshiped, they didn't, as I said in the last video, they didn't really worship the sun. They were worshiping the sun. Satan, who thinks he's the light bringer, son of the dawn, is Etemite. It's not Edom, it's Atim. Atinian means dragon. I said that in one of my previous videos. You can go look that up. The second thing we're doing is when we do that and we abandon the Sabbath, the Holy Sabbath, and the laws, we're basically back doing the same replay as our ancestors did, which caused them to go into bondage in ancient times. So we're carrying out the same thing, but we think we're not, and we are. And I won't say we, because I'm not. I've abandoned Babylon. I don't have nothing to do with that hoe. She going down. If you don't know that by now, you're going to know it when all of these things start happening. These beings start emerging. I said it once before. People might have not heard about that, but like last year around New Year's, the Miami Mall, where some weird things happen. That's just the beginning. You're going to see these things coming out soon. They're going to expose themselves because they feel like they have the right now, because we have allowed the country to become so dark and so evil. Okay, the next thing that we're doing is we're supporting building up a kingdom that has blood on its hands. And we think, well, as long as I'm not doing it, it's this country that's going over killing innocent children and doing all these things. No, as long as you support, build up, work for, be on the side of Babylon, you're going to have blood on your hands too. That's why it says in the word, I believe it says in some place, it says, why are you in a land, a country not your own, sharing defilement with the dead, reckoning with the dead? In other words, dead people, they're alive, but spiritually they're dead. They're doing all kind of filthy things. They're killing the innocent. You're getting benefit from it because whenever they go and take over a nation and kill the people or undermine their stability and, cause a coup and overthrow, your country gets the goods, the booty, and then you get some of the blessings off of that booty. I won't say blessings. I'll say you get some of the stuff that was stolen from those people and the blood and the innocent blood that's shed to get it. So you got to understand, you're part of this thing. As long as you stay there, you are part of it. And there's another word, I think in the book of wisdom, where it says, don't serve a man less than yourself, less worthy than yourself. In other words, the Edomite, the European pagans are less than you when you fear God, keep his commandments, and want his laws. But if you serve him, you work for him, you live with him, you build him up, you stand with him on this mission of total chaos, guess what? You're going to suffer. So I'm glad you joined me today. I appreciate it. I'm going to start trying to bring my spirit and my heart, because you got to understand, this is not going to be one of those little cakewalks. You walk into COVID's over. Now you got back to your work. You got back. No. COVID was God's beginning. It was like his firing shot over the wicked. They didn't see it coming. I know a lot of people call it, what did they call it? They say it wasn't a pandemic, it was a plandemic. But no, you have to understand, it wasn't a plandemic by the man. It was a plandemic by Yahweh, Yahuwah Most High. He planned it because he was tired of watching the pagans and their little rats in their little scientific little places, making all these chemicals, all of these poisons, all of these toxins. Africa for a long time, they can't bring the black man. We just got all this stuff. We create these toxins and poisons and biological weapons, and we can get a few thousand of them, but we just can't wipe them out so we can get all that gold and silver. Well, let me tell you something. God said, you know what? Okay, my first firing shot, pow, is going to be bringing that poison in that biological weapon back on the one who created it. And that was it. It caught Satan and his children off guard. He told me this before it even came. He showed me, he said, something's coming. Something is coming. So I'm here to tell you, you've got to understand this is a rollout. This is the end. It's not going to, go back into some kind of normalistic stuff. California is just the beginning. I'm going to say it one more time. I hear a lot of people on, different platforms saying, it's going to be all over the world. No, this first apocalypse is going to be the United States. It's going to be, I've known it for years. God has revealed that to me for a long time. And it's time for you to wake up and realize it's going to be there. And you're not going to have a chance to deliver yourselves or get out of the line of fire if you don't make an exodus, which is basically, you basically stuck. And I'm going to tell you 2 reasons why you are. And you might not know this because there is attack on your mind living there right now. There is dark forces purposely keeping you nervous, anxious, afraid, purposely distracted. You couldn't even get out there hardly if you wanted to. So I'm just telling you, there are more things at work at play here than you think that it is. And I pray for you. I pray for your little ones. And I think that's the thing that bothers me the most is these babies, these children, your little 8-year-old, your 9-year-old, your 10-year-old, even your teenagers. They're depending on you to make decisions to help them. And you're basically offering them up on the altar of Molech. You're saying, I can't separate from my stuff, what I work for. So, hey, that's good as it gets. And your children, they're at the mercy of what's coming. That is sad. That's really sad. Because not only are you going to have your own blood on your hands, you're going to have the blood of your children on your hands. And that's unfortunate. So I'm going to keep coming with these words. And next I'm going to try hopefully to give you some ideas and understanding of what's going on and how you can shift and make a change in possibly the outcome for you as a people, as a family. Just keep praying. Keep praying. Blessings to you. Take care.